Hello everyone, it's Daryl. How you guys doing today? And today we are in Midtown Detroit and we're checking out a couple of interesting locations here. Actually one location that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and we've seen a couple other things that here in the area we're going to point out while we're here too. But actually right next to where we're going we found Detroit Engine Company number 5, a historic firehouse that's actually still in operation, built in 1909. 109 years this firehouse has been here serving the residents here. And we've got some really nice upscale looking apartment buildings that have been recently renovated, and the whole street here seems to be very, very upscale and well taken care of. We're right across the street from a historic looking building that's been remodeled and is now Slow's Barbecue. So, and this whole area is also right in the middle of the Cass Corridor, which back in the 1970s was the center of illicit drugs and prostitution here in the city. It was like the worst place in Detroit that you could possibly think about going to, was the Cass Corridor back then. But here on the corner of Cass and whatever side street is we're on right here is the old Hamilton Funeral Home. And you can see how old the brickwork in that is on the house building itself here. You know, the original part of the house and the fancy entryway up here. There's the coal chute built in. It's been abandoned and empty for quite a few years now. There was a fire on one of the upper levels, so I believe it's pretty messed up inside from what I hear. One of the lead glass windows is broken out upstairs. There's plants growing out of the gutters. The roof looks like it has holes in it. But look at the nice entryway here, the masonry work and the cornices and the little balcony up there. This was the former home of the Hamilton Funeral Home, which was a very popular funeral home here in Detroit back in the 1910s, 1920s, possibly even up to the 1930s and 40s, I believe. And let's see, this old home style part of the building, which you can see actually up there on top, we can see there's like holes in the little turret up there on the roof, and the support beams from the roof are starting to collapse and come down. It's very sad to see the overall poor condition of this building. The old Hamilton Funeral Home is served as the final embalming place for both Edsel Ford and his father, Henry Ford Sr. At their deaths, they were brought here before their bodies were taken to the churches where their funerals were held. But before that, this was famous as the funeral home that prepared Harry Houdini's body after he passed away. His body was brought here from the hospital for preparation before being taken to the Michigan Central Railroad Depot and taken back to New York. And this part of the funeral home is the part that would have been used during the Ford times in the 30s and 40s. When Houdini passed away, this part was just being built and was not completed until after Harry Houdini had died. The great magician Harry Houdini's real name was Eric Weiss, and he rose to fame performing spectacular illusions and escape stunts. One of his most famous escape stunts occurred in Detroit, Michigan at the Belle Isle Bridge, when he dove into the frigid waters of late November, chained and shackled, and managed to escape. He also performed several shows at the Temple Theater while here. 20 years later, in 1926, he would meet his ending here in the city as well. Arriving at the new Michigan Central Railroad Depot from Montreal, where he had been punched, he checked into the Hotel Statler, one of the premier hotels in Detroit of the time. On the left here is the Garrick Theater, where he would do his last performance along with an advertisement bill from the show, showing tickets ranging from 50 cents to $2. His final show was at the Garrick on November 24th, 1926, where he reportedly collapsed several times from his illness. None of these buildings still exist, but here's a contemporary map of downtown Detroit at the time to show where they were. He would be taken to Grace Hospital, where he would die on Halloween Day, 1926, in room 401, at the age of 52. After his body was prepared at the Hamilton Funeral Home, it was taken to the Michigan Central Depot for return to New York City, where he was buried at Machpelah Jewish Cemetery. And there's some interesting plaques of some historical figures up above the doorways. The most recent incarnation of this building was back in the early 2000s as a music school. And it's been closed down and out of business for several years now. It's well boarded up with chains and gates, and it still has the beautiful wooden doors over here on the side. I don't know if you can see those very well. I'm not trying to get a good view, but there's some beautiful wooden doors and windows here, and it's just a really pretty building right here on the corner of Cass and Alexandrine. Alexandrine reminds me, I think we're close to where the riot started in 1967 as well. But anyway, this is the Houdini Funeral Home, also the place where the Fords were taken. I thought I'd share that with you. And on the northwest corner here is Slow's Barbecue, which is nationally known as one of the great barbecue restaurants in Michigan and Metro Detroit. So if you're ever here and want some good barbecue, I recommend you come check out Slow's. And you can stop and see the Houdini Funeral Home while you're here as well. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Hope everybody's having a great day out there. We're just wandering around Detroit today and having a good time.